Welcome to episode 30 of the Mental Dietitian podcast. Somebody asked me today how long I've been doing these podcasts, and I was like, well, I'm up to episode 30. So 30 weeks, consistently 30 weeks, and we're just getting started. Now, I want all of you guys to shut your mouth and to start breathing through your nose. That's what this is about. Why you need to breathe through your nose. I read an amazing book called Breathe by James Nestor quite a long time ago. And I started implementing some of the things he was talking about in there. Basically, this is an advertisement to go read that book because it will change your life. Go read that book. But I'm going to give you a few little things that can help you. Now, our mouth is not actually designed for us to breathe out of. In fact, human beings are I think we're the only animal that breathes through our mouth. Why? Why do we breathe through our mouths? Apparently, we started breathing through our mouths because we started digesting and eating softer and softer food. And because we eat softer and softer food, it has changed the structure of our face. You ever seen a lot of people how they have like no chin and they've got quite a long face? If somebody doesn't have a structured jawline and has basically no chin, I can guarantee you they're probably a mouth breather. And the reason why I can guarantee you that is because when you breathe through your nose, it actually changes the structure of your face, because there's all these things and all these airways that are through here in our skull, above our eyebrows, and all through our cheeks here. And when we breathe through our nose, those things expand. When we breathe through our mouth, we don't even use the thing that is on our face that was put there for us to breathe through. Mouth is for eating, nose is for breathing. Who would have thought? And over thousands and thousands of years, we've started eating softer and softer foods, and it has changed the shape of our jaw. Therefore, in this book, I think I'm getting it right, is that because of those reasons, it's caused a lot of issues like sleep apnea and snoring, which can cause depression, anxiety, all these things. Now, one of the biggest takeaways that I got from reading that book, and I can guarantee it'll change your life if you do it, is it's obviously easy to start breathing through our nose during the day. But what screws over most people is nighttime when they go to sleep. How many of you guys have woken up in the middle of the night or in the morning or on a plane or in a car and you're like this? I've done it. I did it the other day. One of the things he recommends in that book is to tape your mouth shut with some medical tape. Small little piece of tape, whatever tape works. Just tape your mouth shut so you can't actually open it at all. The very first night I did it, I remember feeling very claustrophobic. And I remember feeling this need that I needed to get more air in more oxygen. I felt like I needed to get more oxygen. That is actually not, it's just a lie that your brain is telling you. In fact, if you breathe 5.5 breaths per minute, you will utilize 85% of the oxygen. If you breathe 20 breaths per minute, which is a lot of people do, is most people breathe too much throughout the day. So if you breathe 5.5 breaths compared to 20 breaths, if you breathe 20 breaths per minute, you only utilize 50% of the oxygen. So what taping my mouth shut taught me every night and taught my body is that I don't need to breathe these shallow, small breaths. I can actually breathe through my nose very slowly and breathe out very slowly. What that allows my entire nervous system to do, it allows it to calm down, it allows it to remain calm. There's so many benefits of it. I wish I could pull every single quote out of this book, but it blew my mind. But what I noticed, and what in this book by James Nestor called Breathe, He did a test where he basically taped his mouth shut every night to go to sleep. And he noticed a massive reduction in how many times he woke up, because I think he did it for 10 days. He did 10 days where he clogged his nose, where he had to breathe through his mouth. And I think he woke up like 200 times. Like they had him hooked up to all these machines. I think he woke up 200 times, like micro wake ups, where all of a sudden he went out of the REM sleep that he was in and then would go back into it over and over and over again. I think by the time on the 7th or 8th day, when he actually had his mouth taped shut, it was down to like something like 3. And he was talking about in the book how depressed he felt, like very depressed, like very, very mentally down by day 7 or 8, when he actually had clogged his nose and was forced to breathe through his mouth. They've even done a lot of different studies with athletes, and you'll see it in the UFC, for example. You'll see when somebody is gassed out and they lose their gas tank, it's called, they start heavily breathing through their mouth. It's the worst thing that somebody can do. That it's so crazy. Like there's some fighters like Israel Adesanya, one of my favorite, most technical fighters. He has a breathing coach that teaches him how to breathe. Kind of crazy. The thing that we all do 25,000 times a day. Most of us are doing it wrong. But apparently it can improve cardiovascular performance by up to 25%. And I've really been diving into this again lately with jiu-jitsu, is that when I'm rolling with people and when I'm wrestling with people, I will strictly just breathe through my nose. And I did it today. And I did 6, 7 rounds, no problem, with just breathing through my nose. And I remember I got a really good takedown on this guy. Who was like 260 pounds. Yes, he's heavier than me. Yes, my cardio is probably better than him, but he was very heavily breathing through his mouth. And then I was breathing through my nose. And I go to a few different gyms, and I've noticed this, is that people that breathe through their mouth, they gas out a lot quicker. And I highly recommend you try it. Highly recommend you try it. Breathing through your nose, using this as a tool, and really seeing what it does in your life. What I noticed when I was doing it when I was sleeping is I got a much better quality of sleep, and I would wake up in the morning feeling very awake. I wouldn't feel groggy. I wouldn't feel tired. I would wake up in the morning and I'd just be like, man, I feel good. I feel rested. It's kind of weird. I mean, especially if you've got a partner, it's kind of a bit hard to be intimate, if you know what I mean, if you've got your mouth shut. Kind of got to be like, hey, we going to sleep? Yes, we're going to sleep. Cool. Good night. Tape your mouth shut. But what I always noticed is I did that for months and months and months. I haven't done it lately. I'm actually probably going to go back and do it again just to see how I feel. But I have no issues with my energy levels. I always feel really, really good. But I would maybe try it again. Maybe I'm mouth breathing again. But I would wake up feeling just amazing. And they've done a lot of different studies, and most of them in that book, about how much mouth breathing can cause depression and things like anxiety. It's just crazy to think that we're not taught any of this shit in school. Hey, you could avoid an entire life of anxiety and depression and sadness just by learning how to use your breath properly. I'm not talking about using like breathing techniques to release trauma and things like that, which you can do. That's a whole nother thing. That's like breath work, where you can use different breathing techniques. You can hyperventilate, you can do all these different things, and it releases energy in your body. I've done that before. It feels amazing. I'm strictly just talking about breathing through your nose. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And that one thing will change everything. Try it. I can guarantee you that it will change your life. One little thing like breathing through your nose. It opens your entire world up, especially with cardio. You'll be on a cardio machine. Try strictly just breathing through your nose. We're at the gym that next time. You will notice that you will be less tired, less gassed out because you are breathing through your nose. So this one here wasn't meant to be a super long one. I just wanted to really touch upon how important it is breathing through your nose versus not breathing through your nose. How much it'll change your perspective around everything, how much better your sleep will be. I can almost guarantee you if you're suffering with anxiety and things like that, or depression, it's not going to fix it. It's not going to cure everything, but I can guarantee that it will help. Especially people that are plagued with like sleep apnea. A lot of people get really depressed and really sad if you don't have a good quality sleep. Tape your mouth shut, give it a go. First few nights might be weird. You might keep waking up. It's kind of like an anxious feeling. It's almost like a feeling of you being suffocating and not getting enough breath, not getting enough air, sorry. But after a few nights, when it starts kicking in, you start noticing it. Game changer. Absolute game changer. So I'm going to leave that with you. Go listen to James Nestor's book, Breathe. Go buy it if you prefer to read it. Go listen to it on Audible if you prefer to listen to it. And I'm going to remember to breathe through my nose. In fact, this entire podcast, while I'm talking, I'm like, am I breathing? Am I breathing through my nose? Am I being a hypocrite right now? I just breathe through my mouth again. Anyway, love you guys. Hope this one helped. Breathe through your nose, shut your mouth, and start breathing through your nose. Love you guys. Bye.